people, that they put a moral objection above a suffering person. Benedict XVI has explained this very well. He said that criticism really isn't valid criticism. The Catholic Church, for one, has spent millions of dollars and countless effort in developing hospitals and treatments in the United States. They generally, over the years, have taken care of indigent patients. They have cared more about the sick and suffering than any other organization in the world.
My feminist colleagues are united on the fact that we want women to be safe and well and healthy and protect. We don't want a biotechnology that abuses them. We don't want a biotechnology that profits off their bodies. And I just say, how dare us put their health on the line, play with their own future fertility, and be so casual about it.
Patients are being told with various diseases and injuries to promote embryonic stem cells or cloning, but no one has revealed to these patients that there's a much safer and I believe much more effective alternative is to use their own stem cells.
We go through remarkable and sophisticated mental somersaults in an attempt to tell ourselves that somehow this should be justifiable, that somehow this really should be okay, when in point of fact we know, just based on the basic biology, that there is a profound violation at the root of this proposal.
Not only is embryo-destructive research morally wrong, it has not cured anyone of anything. Adult stem cell research is already helping the sick today, while offering still greater hope for the future. The reality is, we can support the science of stem cells, finding cures and protecting life.
Hi, I'm Luann. Welcome back to the Woman to Woman Show. We just saw, I think, a fantastic video. We're here visiting with Gail from Oregon Right to Life, and we're going to get right into some of the great stuff covered in this. I know you want to talk about reproductive cloning, clone and kill. Go for it. Help us out here.
Okay.
This is so complicated. I know you're going to make it easy.
Well, the video showed it very, very clearly, but it's such an important issue that I want to go over it real quickly again with a couple little diagrams that I brought.
Oh, good.
One called...
That helps.
One is going to be called reproductive cloning, but I want the listeners to notice that any type of cloning is actually the same type of cloning. Cloning is cloning.
And as human beings, we're not talking Dolly the sheep anymore.
No, and we're not talking about just vague cells. We're talking about making another human being. Cloning is making a human being not the old-fashioned way with egg and sperm, but with egg and a cell from another person.
That's not that hard to get.
That's true. I mean, you could take...
They could take it without your permission, I'm wondering.
Well, you could. You just scratch a little cell or pull out a hair, whatever. But they take the DNA from a cell and implant it, or they put it into an egg from a woman. They need a woman's empty egg, or an egg. They take out the nucleus of it, which I call the yolk. I don't know. Just because we're women and we understand eggs.
I got to remember that one. So we need to make our own video.
That's right.
The chickens.
That's right. So they take a woman's egg, throw out the yolk, take the DNA from, say, you, or from one of the gentlemen here filming.
Anybody.
And put the DNA into the place where the yolk was. Then they run some electricity through it, and then you have a brand new human being.
I can't even believe this.
Well, it's amazing, and they haven't done it yet with people, but they've done it with animals.
They want to.
And they're trying very desperately to do it with people. And then you have the brand new cat, or like in Dolly's case, Dolly's the sheep,
it really
just
happened.
Exactly to match the donor of the cell. It's exact clone, an exact match. And then that embryo that they have, which is the same embryo that you would have if you put the egg and sperm together, they let grow for 5 days. We're back to the 5-day time again, where it's now called a blastocyst, a 5-day-old embryo. And then they do the same thing that they wanted to do before. Now, in reproductive cloning, this is where it's different. In reproductive cloning, they have the egg, they have the DNA, they fuse it together, they make an embryo, they let it grow for 5 days to the blastocyst. Now, they talk about reproductive cloning, and scientists say, oh, we'd never be reproductive cloning.
They did.
But what they mean is that reproductive cloning means you take that 5-day-old blastocyst and then implant it in a woman. So you would have, a baby clone of a human. That would grow up. Yes, like Dolly a sheep was. They took that 5-day-old blastocyst and put it in a sheep, and then pretty soon Dolly was born. So they say you would never do that with humans. Now that's reproductive cloning. But they say we want to do therapeutic cloning. Therapeutic cloning is what I hope we see on the screen right now. That's the exact same process.
Clone and kill.
They call it clone and kill. They take the egg, they put the DNA in, they fuse it together, they have an embryo, they let it grow until 5 days, the blastocyst. Now what they do, instead of implanting it into a mother, they then destroy it in order to take out the stem cells on the inside. And then they experiment with it.
Same thing.
Same thing. The process to begin with to create the embryo is the same, but they want to kill it in the end for the stem cells residing inside that 5-day-old blastocyst. So we call that the clone and kill. Or the scientists call it therapeutic cloning.
Yeah.
That's the word that...
Is that how they sell it to the public?
Yes, that's the trick. That's the trick.
The therapeutic. Oh, wow, that's a therapy. That must be good.
Because
right?
we want to help people, yes. Now, we've got to speed on because I know the program is moving on. But another phrase that's very important for the listeners to understand, somatic cell nuclear transfer.
Somatic cell
nuclear transfer.
This is feeling like going back into science class. I kind of got a bad grade in that.
And this is the biggest trick.
Okay.
The biggest trick they play, because they say, oh, we're not cloning. It's just somatic cell nuclear transfer. Somatic cell nuclear transfer is the scientific word for cloning, such as H2O is the scientific word for water.
I don't believe it. The public is never told that.
I know.
And if it wasn't for you, we never would hear this. You know, you're not going to get this in the Oregonian. You're not going to get this on NBC, are you? You're not going to get this on, you know, your general media. You're it, Gail.
Well, I'm not the only one, but
people
need to start paying attention. Somatic cell nuclear transfer. Don't forget it, Luann. That means cloning. And it means scientists do want to clone humans, to kill the embryo, to get the stem cells, to experiment with them in hopes that they will find cures. So far they haven't, but I've got good news before this program is over.
Well, we have a minute left, and I'm so glad we do, because I need good news at this point.
First of all, adult stem cells, which our bodies are filled with stem cells, our blood, our nasal passages everywhere, we're filled with stem cells. Scientists have been healing over 100 different types of disease right now as we speak with adult stem cells. There's no need for embryonic stem cells.
No.
There's no need for cloning. And the greatest news that just happened within the last month is that scientists have found out how to take a regular cell off your skin and reprogram it backwards to the embryonic stage, so they can actually make their own embryonic stem cells without killing the embryo.
I am so glad.
It's good news.
We go to ORTL, go to Oregon Right to Life's website to learn more about this exciting research and all the great information. We need to know this. We really need to know this.
We don't need to turn to the bad stuff.
No.
There's plenty of good.
No embryonic. Thank you so much, Gail. I wish we had more time to talk.
I
have to come back now.
All right.
Thanks.
And we'll love all